Collaboration, innovation, and growth. These are things that any high-level executives think about on a daily basis. We're going to talk to somebody that knows all about that on this episode of The CRUDE Truth.
In 1901, at Spindletop Hill near Beaumont, the future of Texas changed dramatically as, like a fountain of fortune, thousands of barrels of oil burst from the earth towards the sky. Soon, Detroit would be cranking out Model Ts by the millions, and America was on the move, thanks to the black gold being produced in Texas. Now, more than a century later, the vehicles are different, but nothing else has truly changed. Sure, there may be many other alternative energy sources like wind and solar and electric. But let's be honest, America depends on oil and entrepreneurs, and if the USA is truly going to be independent, it has to know the crude truth.
NAPE is a proud sponsor of the CRUDE Truth. Be sure to register for the NAPE Expo 2024, February 7th through the 9th at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. Hurry and register today. NAPE, where deals happen.
This episode is brought to you by LFS Chemistry, committed to being good stewards of the environment and providing the tools so you can be too. NAPE Expo, where deals happen. Air Compressor Solutions. When everything is on the line, Air Compressor Solutions is the dependable choice to keep commercial business powered up. Sandstone Group. Exec Crüe. Elevate your network, elevate your knowledge. Oil and Gas Workers Association. Pecos Country Operating. Fueling our future.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you tuned in. I'm just so excited. We have another The CRUDE Truth Exclusive today. There in my teaser, I talked about collaboration, growth, and innovation. And I just wanted to bring on this gentleman. He's been on before, but he has something new that we're going to talk about that brings in all those points I just mentioned, I should say. My guest today here in Austin, Texas is the one, the only JP Warren with Exec Crüe. JP, what are you doing?
Man, first off, thank you for having me on. This is the third time I've been on the CRUDE Truth, and I love being here, okay? It's just, like every time I come, I just want to throw this out there. I'm actually saying this to everyone out there, like whoever is in a situation where they're uncomfortable, because we've been kind of preaching this in my house. If my daughter listens to this ever, Evelyn, I am extremely uncomfortable right now because this is such a fantastic, like state-of-the-art setup. I mean, it's always next level. I mean, the people that, that you work with here and all that stuff. So thank you for having me on again. I think last time I was up here, it was in Fort Worth.
Yes.
So I've been to Dallas to the Fort Worth one. That's when actually we first started talking about the idea of Exec Crüe and kind of what the idea behind was. And that really hasn't changed. But yeah, I mean, we're back. It's about to get kicked off again. So I'm pumped to be here right now.
Well, I'm super psyched to have you here because Exec Crüe is about to do something that I think is going to change the way that leadership works with each other from all different types of companies.
Right.
And that's really all I want to say about it. But because it's your
that's
baby.
the law then.
And I'll do say this, that with everything that you've done with Connection Crüe, I think that's what makes me more excited about Exec Crüe, because now it's like, all right, I'm going to take all these things that I've learned to build Connection Crüe, because it is separate from Exec Crüe is different. But I think that's one thing that everybody's going to be excited about, JP, is just to watch this thing skyrocket.
So it's a cool concept. And again, thank you for having me on to kind of talk about this. Yes. This has been my passion. This has been my passion since I started going out on my own 2 years ago, with the idea to connect people. And I think kind of people have gotten so comfortable not being connected in this world. We live in such a hyper-connected world. We have our phones, we can go on social media, we can go on LinkedIn, we can text people, we can just watch stuff. We don't have to connect with people to kind of function throughout life. Unfortunately, it comes to a point I think in everyone's career, post-pandemic world, you have, a lot of people kind of in new positions or have been in positions. The world's changing when it comes to technology, when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to whatever it is. And also, I think people's mindset has changed too. I mean, before the pandemic, I would never have thought about going out on my own and starting trusting myself, betting on myself, but here I am. And the idea behind that is when I start off, it's like you read books,
yes.
You listen to podcasts, especially the CRUDE Truth podcast. If you're not listening to the CRUDE TRUTH podcast, you're going to be behind. You're going to be 2 steps behind everyone else. All right, so let's be real about that quick. But, you go to these lunch and learns, these seminars, you read these books, and, there's a lot of great information out there. However, I've found the best advice, the best insights, the best guidance. Hey, JP, check these blind spots. Look at this. Have you thought about this opportunity? Really came from my networks. And, obviously, as you build, the business and all that stuff, you take a little time to stop, pause, and reflect. And you think how you got here. And it was not just the support group, not just, the people kind of that see your vision, kind of get behind it, but it's the connections. It's the knowledge that's around you. And that's kind of the whole concept. So, we're doing, Crüe Club for the past 2 years, and we just had our 117th event. We've had over 900 E&P operators at these events. And, some people are like, well, that's not a big number. But for me, I dig it because we keep our events small and intimate because that's what creates the genuine conversations, the genuine connections, the insight that you don't get in these big rooms. Okay. So, after 117, 117 of these events, you start seeing kind of what works. You start seeing what's needed when it comes to networking.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer of, it's you come to a point in your career, it's not, what you know, it becomes to who you know. And I think Scott Witt and I had that conversation about that actually on the way up here. And the whole idea is literally, in short, 30,000 foot view, is to bring leaders together, to bring executives, to bring senior managers, to bring entrepreneurs and founders together in a small community, and where we can match people's strengths and passions with people's blind spots and weaknesses. And I can learn from you, you can learn from me. So the concept is really simple. Everyone is a teacher and everyone's a student. And I feel like I can keep on going on and on, but if you want to take a break and interject, please do, because I keep talking about not just the benefits of networking, but also what to expect with CRUE Club. With Exec Crüe and the connection.
Right, and that's why I wanted to do an exclusive today to talk about the Exec Crüe and that mentorship and that community. I will say that at one of your most recent events, there was another operator there, and I had the opportunity to actually sit next to him, and we were actually able to talk, bounce some ideas off of each other. They're a little bit bigger than Pecos is.
I saw that.
And but it was just pure like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Well, here's what I'm doing. Hey, well, what about this? When we're growing, this is, we probably should have grown earlier than later. It still worked out. And then we even talked about, you mentioned the pandemic. I bounced off just the idea about like, man, I'm looking at offices again. He goes, man, we got one, and it's a different vibe than it used to be when all these things. And he goes, to work when people are working at home. And so it was just a pretty nice thing to sit there and talk to another executive about these problems that are and issues that he has that are no different than mine.
So take that. Yeah. So take that experience that you had last night, sitting there in an intimate setting with another operator and just kind of just having a conversation, not only what you're challenged with or ideas that you're facing, or maybe kind of opportunities you kind of want to kind of hash out a little bit and kind of peel the onions. So take that experience that you had with that other executive. I know who you're talking about, and I was watching that, and I was like, okay, I love seeing this, because you look around the table and you see these conversations. So take that and multiply that by 25.
Wow.
Okay. So not only do you have access to, it's kind of like a mastermind, inner circle, personal and professional growth aspect to it. Yeah, that is it. It's hey, I'm thinking about getting an office. Hey, I want to expand in international market. What's going on? How are you raising capital? What's important in a pitch deck if you're getting your company ready to sell? Yeah. How do I build a team? Whatever it is, whatever topic it is and all that stuff, you're getting insight from the members who have been there, who might have tried things out and been successful, or could advise you that have tried stuff out and not been successful.
Yeah.
So I think knowledge shared is power multiplied. That's the quote I've been using, which is Robert Boyce, which is a great quote. And that's kind of the idea. And, when I first going into this, I'm like, oh, it's going to be 60 members. It's going to be this and that. I'm excited. That's changed. And it's fun because, what the original idea about this, that we had when I first came on, it was like, okay, it's going to be this, it's going to be this, it's going to be this. It's exciting because it's evolving and it's changing and it's growing to be more impactful, to be more valuable and beneficial towards the members that are joining. And yeah, look, we're having an informational meeting on October 12th, and that's going to be invitational. You have to register at Connection Crew under the Exec Crüe thing. But that's really just kind of open up to explain what to expect.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't make, so I'll go into the details of how it's going to look. You know, then we have November 8th, and after that, really in January, we're getting kicked off, and it's going to be close. It's going to be that type of conversations that you had with that gentleman at the table. It's going to be those where you're learning from each other. And I think, you know, people are very hesitant to ask their peers about advice. They think they can, you know, people believe that they can find it online or on AI or whatever. We're bringing the AI, the achievers intelligence, and like that, the AI, the achievers intelligence, not the artificial, the achievers intelligence to the table.
I like that. That's a good way to put it. So is it going to be just in one spot? Because as everyone knows that's watching and listening, you know, your Connection Crew is all over. You know, you've got Denver, Oklahoma City.
That's correct.
So is this going to be kind of a city by city thing, or is it going to be kind of a, you know, one stop, one place?
So that's a great question. You always ask the great questions on the CRUDE Truth. I think listen, like with Crew Club, okay? You know, you start with this idea, you start with this. It's kind of like a little baby, all right? Yeah, you know, you got to have the baby crawling first. You have to get the baby walking. You take off the guardrails and have the baby grow. Yeah. I think, you know, what originally started off with, we're going to have these different locations and be this many people, this large, and all that stuff. Well, since then, I'm getting my coaching certificate, you know? So that's going to be another layer to that, the executive coaching portion of it. Since then, I thought about do I want to be in a room, and nothing against 60 people, but is that the most valuable thing? No. So in the beginning stages, phase one of this, which is starting January until September, that's going to be kind of the crawling phase. And we're not rolling over our backs, because I kind of understand how networks work. But no, I think to start off, we're going to have it small. The monthly meetups, this is how it's going to be structured. Okay. So the focus is this: genuine connections. It's exchange of knowledge. It's genuine connections, and it's elevation. You want to elevate your knowledge, elevate your self, and elevate your networks. And that's kind of the idea. So to elevate your knowledge, okay, what does that look like? That looks like a set group of people, okay, a small set group of people. And what that looks like, that's lining up some strengths with weaknesses. You know about this? I don't. Teach me. We're pairing members with other members to kind of, not pairing, but we're allowing members to kind of like go through an online directory where they have access to, where they can kind of look out other executives or other senior management where they can kind of connect. Yeah, and it's so right now it's the monthly meetups are just me in Houston. But what the best part is, if you miss a monthly meetup, we're developing a cool little kit, a cool little I don't know if you call it exercises kit, whatever you want to call it. That it's really targeted value networking. Okay. It's not like hey Ray, tell me about yourself. Yeah. It's more, hey, I see you have access to this. Here's my problem. What can we do? It's a soundboard. It's feedback loops. It's this. It's that. It's there's a lot to the packet that members are going to get. Well, and I'm glad you brought up your coaching certificate. You know, first of all, as again, and this is something that everybody already knows. You have been doing more speaking. You're the way you network. I mean, you're speaking about networking. You're going places. You're talking about, hey, networking does this, it does that, and you live it, you breathe it, and it all started, like you said, out of, hey, man, we got to find something new to do, and it has grown. So for you to bring in this coaching part of that, I think it's just going to even elevate it even that much more for you to bring to the Exec Crüe, because there's no doubt you are a thought leader, as that word. Well, I think it does sometimes get use a little bit too much, but this is not one of those times. No, this is not one of those times. Not one of those times. No, we mean it this time. Yes, I mean it this time. and in fact, side note, I think we talked about it last time. We were both on that top 10 with Black Mountain. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was very cool. Shout out to Black Mountain. Yeah, I mean, that was a big deal. But you really are, and you are cultivating. I mean, you've got over 900 people. Yeah, over 100 events. Almost at 120 now. Yep. And for you to bring on this coaching, because everybody enjoys listening to you talk, you motivate people. I mean, shoot, you can motivate people to climb a freaking scale mountain. And, so for you to bring that in, and then also bring in just all these C-suite people, I think that's a new term these days, the C-suite, all these CEOs, and be a sounding board and just run ideas.
that opens up for so much. It really helps.
So throughout these, the Crew Club stuff, you see certain things. I mean, you see the power of connections. Okay, so looking back at this, connections change lives. Connections open up opportunities. Connections. If you talk to people, how did you get your last job? It was probably from someone you knew. Where'd you find about this opportunity? It was probably from someone you knew. Okay, so I remember a couple years back, I introduced two people. One had a need, one had the knowledge, connected them. Flash forward a couple years, they sold their company, and now they're going to be doing another company. All right. Wow. There was a friend of mine who fell in an unfortunate circumstance, couldn't find, got let go, whatever. Through these networks, through the Crew Club events, he was able to land, 7 different coffee meetings or interviews or whatever, just from that. And if you don't have the networks, you're not going to have access to literally knowledge. I have found some of the most insightful, just inspiring, just like, I didn't even think about that just from conversations, and I think having that structure, that kit that I was talking about, it's amazing to kind of like, wow, like this, not just networking is important, but networking is crucial. I think networking, because right now everyone's so disconnected. I think to get a leg up on your competition, to get a leg up on yourself, and to kind of elevate yourself is to kind of expand your networks with the right people.
Right.
With the right people.
Well, you talk about the right people. The Connection Crew has been based off of the oil and gas industry, bringing service companies and operators,
right,
E&P companies together.
Yes.
Will the Exec Crüe be in that same type of space, or are you gonna be, expanding it outside of that?
So what I'm excited about right now is, first off, that Exec Crüe. Okay, so there's been a lot of inquiries about Exec Crüe that people want to get involved, which is, it's awesome. It's so inspiring, and it's like I cannot wait to get people together and start seeing the magic of these connections, because you just don't know whether it's going to be whatever. It's going to be an invention, a sale of a company, or just helping someone out who's having a tough time, whatever that is. So honestly, how it looks today, it's gonna look similar, but it's gonna look different.
Right.
In 3 months, in 6 months, in a year. So right now, no, it's not just oil and gas space. We have someone, a couple people on the renewable side. We have some construction people, some real estate people that are interested and involved as well. We have obviously some energy people as well, some entrepreneurs. So it's not just energy specific. It's not just oil and gas focused. And I think that's good. I think it's good, if you are in whatever industry you're in, to learn from others outside your industry.
Absolutely.
I had Bill Knox on my podcast, which is not as good as the CRUDE TRUTH. And he has such a great point. He's like, we need to get out of, if you're in an industry for too long, you put those blinders on, right, get out of that, start talking to the people. And that's going to be the beauty of this. It's going to be, so going back to it, so Exec Crüe started, so I'm getting all this feedback, and I'm getting, C-suite interest, but I'm also getting senior management interest. I'm getting entrepreneurial interest, and I'm like, okay, I want to do something for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? So this is kind of where this is, it's the same level of connection, however, it's split. So I've been sitting on Connection Crüe. It's such a great concept, such a great name for about 2 years now. And this is the perfect time to start putting something with that name. So Exec Crüe, you have the C-suite executives and founders, and then Connection Crüe is the senior management and all that stuff. And I think those conversations will be different, but they're going to be beneficial to the members that are part of there.
Well, and then, one other thing that you're going to highlight, and we'll talk about this with the Connection Crüe, is the leadership potential from these other from the high-end senior management and these entrepreneurs. Because look, in any form or fashion, an entrepreneur is a leader in some way.
Yeah.
So there's always even more potential there, and that's something else that that you guys are going to be focused on, is just bringing out that leadership, bringing out that potential in people, and by as you talked about, bouncing ideas off, sharing stuff, because in the oil and gas industry, we have come a long way from the days when my father did it, and it was don't tell anybody exactly what you're doing.
Keep close to check.
And in certain degrees, we still do that. Like, you don't want nobody to know exactly where you're, certain things. But opening up the problems, talking about, hey man, we got a problem with this, and that you can bounce that idea off of an engineer that might be a CEO. That's huge.
Yeah.
Or real estate and oil and gas are very different. However, if you actually start diving in and talking, It's like, wow, they're really not that different. And then construction. So, you know, just because I have a problem in the oil and gas, that may not be necessarily a oil well, pretty like a well problem. But I might have something with my management team that's like, hey, we're not doing this.
Career situation.
Yes, and it's like, hey, okay, well, somebody in the real estate or in the industrial side might go, oh man, we had something similar, and that's something I think is pretty neat about what you and the exec crew are going to be doing.
But the thing with it is, you know, I was talking to some people. They're like, oh, what if, you know, I'm a CEO, and I really don't need to know. Well, this isn't for you.
Yeah,
this is for people who want to learn. This is for people who want to collaborate. This is for people who want to bounce ideas and feel like, if you come in with ego and you're thinking like, I don't need this, like you need me, I don't need you, or whatever. We're looking for leaders who want to connect. We're looking for leaders who want to collaborate. I mean, I think, you know, it's 2023 right now. I think, you know, number one, mentorship, leadership, collaboration, knowledge sharing. It's not happening as much as you'd like to think it is, which I think is crucial to success these days. And that's what this is. We're not looking for stale people with, you know, that want to be a member just to be a member. This is dynamic. Hey, look, if you can't make the monthly meetups, that's fine. Here's 8 different ways for you to connect on your own pace with other leaders that are in this group. And no, I think it's one of those things where it's going to be dynamic. It's going to be member led. It's going to be, you know, you have all these other organizations that have these like paid speakers coming in and being paid speakers. Yeah. And that's kind of like those academics that stay in university that have no real world experience, you know? This is going to be member driven, member led. And I think that's going to be just the amazing, beautiful part of it. You're going to see so much, I think, just so much connections and fusion have. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I want to get back to another point you mentioned, like how much, oh my God, what's the word? Basically, people have been reaching out to you about it. Like, hey man, what do you got? I think people are excited to, like, almost in a way, be on the ground floor this time with Exec Crüe. It's like everybody was like, okay, what's this connection crew? What is it? Okay, you know,
I get that.
And it's grown into what it is now to where, I mean, you got people, you know, want to be, hey man, I want to get in. You're like, great, you got to be a sponsor, and you know, you got a criteria there, and they're like, okay. But I think people want to like get in on at the beginning this time with you, and it's like, hey, and they're investing in you. And they're like, you know, they may not be financial, but they're like, no, man, we know what JP can do. And you talk about real world experience. You have taken networking and just owned it, JP. So I just, you know, I tell people all the time that you have cracked the code. And it's just
good people together.
Awesome. Yeah,
it's just bringing good people, and take the transactions away. Yeah, I don't need to meet you. What can you do for me? No, this is, hey, how can we, like, hey, let's just meet. Maybe there's an opportunity to help each other. If not, it's still great meeting. Let's make a friend. Yeah. We need more friends.
No, you know, one person that comes to mind is Jim Holmes with LFS.
Yes.
I mean, that guy is great. And it's like, hey, no, right, man, you just literally have a cup of coffee with him, have a great time.
Oh, 100%.
And then he'll talk to you about his issue, you know, help you out, or, you know, you can, as you like to say, riff, and you can talk with him.
And that, so he's a perfect example. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if you sit down and have a conversation with someone, whether it's as a soundboard, whether it's like, hey, I don't know anything about building a team, Jim. You know, you do. That's your passion. That's your strength. I'm about to build mine. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? And you kind of stuff to look out for, stuff to not to. So that's kind of like the concept behind it, like matching passions and strengths with blind spots, matching, you know, bouncing ideas, helping, supporting, just like decisions and all that stuff. It's going to be an inner circle mastermind. And you're right. It's like, you know, you start a crew club, it's like, hey, it's going to be we're going to get some operators and producers together, and you're not going to sell anything? No.
Yeah.
You're not going to do any presentations? No.
No.
Okay, well, I'll see how this plays out. But look at it now. I mean, look at it now. We have, you know, more operators going, attending the table than crew members, which is hilarious, which is, to me, that's awesome. And the crew members that are showing up are just, you just see the conversation. You see the operator, they get behind the curtain with the service side, and you have the service side making those connections with the operator. It's a community.
It is. And you know, with your crew club, you know, the service individuals understand, because you bring in some, you know, big name CEOs to your crew events, and everybody's just chill.
Yeah.
Has a good time. And it's like, almost like, oh yeah, that guy's, you know, he's always, you know, don't worry
about the door. You come here, have a good time and meeting people.
I can't believe somebody said, well, you know, well, that's probably not for me then, or.
No, but that's fine though.
Yeah.
That's fine though. Exec Crüe and Connection Crüe, which is going to be the same thing, but again, for different levels, because those conversations will be different.
Yes.
Like, for example, if I'm an executive, I'm not going to be having conversations, how do I make to that executive level?
Yeah.
That's the Connection Crüe side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's just, it's bringing those people together. It's bringing I want to elevate myself. I want to elevate my networks and my knowledge. So that's why it's not for everyone. It's for people that want to kind of surround themselves with people that want to inspire, learn, grow from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and growing and learning. I think, was it, Kobe Bryant that basically said, hey, you always be learning or growing or
ABL.
And
always be learning.
Right?
ABL.
But you have to. I mean, I know for me, as you know, we've talked a little bit about it. It's like,
and you're growing too right now.
Yeah, I'm going to school, and I had another good conversation with another CEO last night. They go, why are you going back? And I said, I'm going back because of you. I said, I'm going back because of this. I said, you guys have been able to do some great things. And, as Pecos Country Operating, I want us to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I want to, that's why I'm going back to school is to learn and to grow, but also to have the conversations with these CEOs and the networking that goes in.
I was about to interrupt you.
Yes,
yeah.
No, yes. And, the networking is really just so important to get out there and shake somebody's hand and go, hey, how are you doing? And you can't be afraid of that. And like you also mentioned, mentorship is not there right now.
Mentorship, leadership, collaboration, communication, and even just kind of talking about people's vulnerabilities isn't there.
I feel like we're so caught up in left and right now that it's like, well, nobody's really taking anybody under the wing to teach them all the other stuff, all the actual important stuff. Because that far left and far right, that's all minute. That's not the important stuff. Like let's get together. Let's solve some problems. Yeah. It's like I know you said it once or twice at some of the crew events. Is hey, we're not going to solve all the world's problems today, but hey, it's fun to talk about a little bit of them and try to. But by world problems, you're talking about business problems. So, not necessarily, what this government's doing or what this
business problems, industry changes, new regulations that are coming out. Whatever that is. I mean, every piece of this conversation, and that's the thing. Everyone has so much stuff going on. You've got so much stuff. Can you imagine a time once a month where we just get together and say, guys, this has been changed, guys and girls, this has changed completely since last month. I'm kind of in this segment now. JP, have you thought about this?
Yeah.
What is that? You haven't heard of this?
Yeah.
I mean, that has happened so many times through conversations, and it has not only saved kind of my time, energy, and effort, but it's kind of pushed me in a better trajectory.
Yeah.
And that is the whole purpose of Exec Crüe for executives and Connection Crüe for senior management. And they're going to be limited, small members, phase 1, and we're going to try it out. And then from there, we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how much we want to expand. I mean, again, people say, how come you're not growing Crew Club? Because I kind of don't want to right now. We have great conversations right now.
You do. I mean, this one here in Austin that you had last night that we did. I mean, the conversations didn't stop. Even when the good food came out, it was great food last night. Yeah, we got kicked out. Nobody wanted to quit. And again, we're talking about real stuff going on. And I mean, just all the 20 people there or 20, 25 people, and you could actually talk to the person over there or over there. And I mean, there were no strangers there by the end of the night.
No.
And that's awesome. And so I think those intimate settings are very important.
Now imagine this. Okay. Imagine you at the table with that gentleman next to you.
Yeah.
And imagine the entire table of people in that level, that different experiences, whatever, that level.
Yeah.
Imagine having the ability to connect with any single one of those throughout the year, even after, because, obviously friendships continue after a conclusion event, but imagine connecting with 20, 25 different people, utilizing their ideas or bouncing ideas or helping them out with your experience and all that stuff. That way you're not trying to find answers yourself. Imagine having that network of knowledge right there. I mean, at your fingertips. Yeah. That's what it is. And the essence of that's what it is. And I saw y'all's conversation, and I saw how y'all were talking, and I knew there was something cool was going on right there. I'm serious.
Well, I enjoyed it. And I mean, we're being that CEO, we're definitely going to have to talk again real soon because they're doing some great things. I'm doing some great things, and we're both growing.
Good.
And but JP, for everybody out there that hasn't connected with you, that hadn't heard of Exec Crüe,
Well,
how can they find you?
Okay, so
Come on.
I am extremely excited about Exec Crüe and Connection Crüe. You know, this is something that kind of came about last week to split into these two groups, and there's gonna be limited membership. It's gonna be exclusively knowledge sharing. I'm so pumped to see what's gonna happen. So if you do want to connect and you do want to learn more about that, you can head over to www.connectioncrue.com/Exec Crüe. And Crüe spelled like Motley Crue, C-R-U-E. So find it there, register there if you want more information, kind of learn more about it. You can find me on LinkedIn. Go to Connection Crüe, sign up for that to kind of stay up to date with all the crews that's been going on. Yeah, just kind of if you're really looking to kind of, you know, build your networks and that matter, that are impactful, I think this is definitely going to be the place for a lot of people. And I think I'm excited, not just the phase 1, but where it's going to go.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
I'm digging it, man.
And I mean, I'm so excited. You know, I called this episode an exclusive, but we didn't even really goof off or talk about all the other stuff. It was like, hey, man, let's talk
the
about
B-reels, because we were kind of goofing off a little bit before. Now we take our jobs very serious.
Have to.
Very serious.
Very serious.
So, no, I'm pumped about it. I love, and it is crazy seeing the connections form and things share. But yes, I'm 100% geeked out about this. It's kind of, I'm annoying my wife about this, because I'm waking up kind of excited. Oh, what if we do this? And she's like, well, you're putting a toolkit on how to network more effectively. I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
She's like, who does that? I'm like, I do.
You do.
I do.
But you have, I'm telling you again, your networking skills, you have cracked the code. I mean, so it's just,
You want to learn how? Join Exec Crüe.
ooh,
You like that?
that's it right there.
I dig it.
Oh my gosh. Well, JP, I cannot thank you again for allowing
Yeah,
us
thank
for coming back on the show. And the Energy Crew is freaking awesome. So don't even, and Energy Fact Chats with
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Umbro.
Yeah, I think Mike's gonna get a little jealous of these views right now. I mean, it's yeah.
I don't know, man. Y'all had some pretty good ones there in San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of what this gentleman in California, Mike Umbro, and I do. We do these. We kind of cover the headlines, the energy headlines, and how it kind of forms in this whole energy discussion that's going on right now, and bridging the gaps between energy expectations, energy realities. And he's just a cool California bro who's just trying to make some movement and raise awareness on environmental impacts, on economic impacts, and how it impacts the consumer. So I've loved doing that with him. I've learned a lot, and it's just fun. Yeah.
Well, I had to mention those. I mean, and then again, you're phenomenal at both those podcasts, and so is Mike Umbro. One of these days, I'll have to get him on the show.
Oh, he'll come on RP.
He'll
He'll come in an RP.
Ooh, you get all of us on one show. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That can be done.
I don't know.
That can easily be done.
Well, JP, again, everybody needs to, if you want to learn how to network better, Exec Crüe is the way to go, or Connection Crüe. And that's the CRUDE truth. JP, thank you again. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on another episode of the CRUDE truth.
Again, thank you to our sponsors, LFS Chemistry, NAPE Expo, Air Compressor Solutions, Exec Crüe, Oil and Gas Workers Association, Pecos Country Operating.
The easiest way to start your own podcast and TV show? Real News Communications Network. Stand out from your competition. Produce streams of high-quality social media content. Become a thought leader in your industry. With RNCN, you get to be the host. We handle everything else. Tour one of our 3 locations in Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Colony. Call 972-402-6333 or visit launchashow.com to find out more.